We are live! Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Show Must Go Online. Today's guest is Leonard J Moore II. How are you doing today?
I'm actually really good. Like personal life, like I'm really good. God always comes through even in the darkest times. So I'm pretty good. Just came out of a workshop.
Very, very happy to hear that. I love your energy. I feel like whenever we're together, it's always like freestyle of Supreme Academy.
Gotta make sure you add the little tagline.
Right. Academy. Oh, that was so great. So for everyone watching, and I know sometimes it takes like a few minutes for people to like hop on board, but it was so cool going through the academy together. What made you want to apply for the FLS Academy, and then like what was that process like?
Okay, that's actually a really funny story. Wow. Okay. So I first got into musical theater and I fell in love with with the character of Jeannie. I put up a production of Friend Like Me where I had like the costume, everything, and then I went to New York for the first time in like March of last year. And my goal was I wanted the Genie to sign the back of my costume. The current Genie, he didn't come out, so I found out about James working at Hamilton. I go there. It's like before the show. I'm like an hour out, well, like 2 hours before my flight. My girlfriend is annoying me because I'm not at the hotel, and I waiting. He finally comes. I get him to sign my costume, whatever. That's the first time I met James, and then I met him like a couple times because he was my idol. I love James. So and then I saw him at like Hercules. I saw him. When I saw Hamilton, I saw him. I went, and then eventually, I actually met the Lord and Lady Croft because I saw Hamilton first time, and then I met him, and I've been already looking at Freestyle Love Supreme for the longest, but tickets were stupid expensive, so that's not happening. And so after Hamilton, I'm big on networking, so I go down. And he's talking with people. So I go down to the front of the stage, I start talking to him, and it's his birthday. And he talks to me for like a half an hour about like everything, about New York, about musicals, about ABC. And he's like, yo, you would love Freestyle Love Supreme. I'm like, I do love Freestyle Love Supreme, but I can't afford it, and it's still an opening, so there's no lotteries. And he's like, what are you talking about? There's a lottery. Look, like this is the website. Look at go enter it, because like I think you're gonna love it. I'm like, hey, fuck it. So I enter the lottery. I win the second time I enter the lottery. And I go and I'm literally center front row. And I'm with my friend and I'm watching it. I'm like, and James is in it, Croft is in it. I'm like, what? And I'm like, wow. And then the crazy part is at the end, they asked me to come up on stage. And the moment they said, because I was already expecting it, because one of my friends got called up like weeks ago. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Stand up, me. They picked me, and James became my brain, and I went through my day. They reenacted it, and it's funny because James just told this story too, and then they told me about the academy. Well, I already knew about the academy, but after that, they told me about it again. I'm like, wow, I was thinking about that, but like, I'm actually gonna do it. Fuck it, and so I did it, and oh my gosh, and then like working with them through like other little things. Like I don't know. I feel like because I was constantly like because he nailed it when I was sitting on that stool. I was looking back. I was like, I'm gonna be on that bitch. He got me messed up.
Okay.
I just cursed like twice. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. This is chill. This is YouTube. This isn't like network television.
Demonetization.
Yeah, right. They're like, I'm sorry, we cannot have this. Yes, it's so funny. James did tell that story the other day, and I was like, yo, he's coming on my show. Yeah, and that is so much fun. I know being up on that stage is like when I like, it's cool that both of us got to go up on it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You never told me you were supposed to tell me your story about it, but you never did. So so now.
Oh no. Do I tell it now? Do I tell you later?
Wow.
Okay. Well, for everyone watching at home, if you haven't heard this story yet, some of my amazing friends had actually like got me this computer that I'm using right now to chat with you. They like wrote me this giant check. It felt like I was on a game show because they like literally were like out near in like a outside restaurant thing, and just like we were taking a group photo, and they, as I like turn, they have this giant check and it says bwaySHO, and I was like, what? And that was the day of the Broadway flea market, and I had seen like FLS was going to be my third show of the day, and so everyone was like, yo, SHO, you need to go up on that stage. And it was so funny, like raising my hand, and then like Anthony Two Touch saw me and he was like, SHO, come on up. And then, you know, I'm still in shock. Like the whole thing was, and then like seeing shock, oh, whew, so much fun. And Andy saying those friends really are amazing. They are. And thank you for chatting. If y'all are watching, sometimes people watch now and they can like chat along here, or if they're watching later, they're like, oh no, I threw away my shot.
Not throwing away my shot.
I feel like when I'm chatting with you, it's just like always either like a song or a rap or a beat or a box or a bam, 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 bam. Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about the Academy a little bit, because it was so cool doing that experience. I never really thought that I would do something like that, because like I love to sing, but I'm not like a singer, and I acted in high school, and I'm a reporter, so like talking with people is great. And I was thinking, okay, well, it would be good to have those type of skills, right? Like learning how to improvise and go with the flow, whatever. What?
I said definitely won't hurt you.
True, exactly. I highly recommend it. Helpful for everybody. And just like our group was so much fun, and it felt so open, and like we would do the post show together, and it just like, what you're way too good. And looking back at some of them, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that out loud, but you were amazing. So
I don't know about that.
You came in like the first day being like, I can't beatbox. And then by the last day, you were dropping beats like it was your job.
I plead the fifth. No, because like the thing was like I always, because I'm from Miami, so like Miami, everyone claims to be a rapper. Everybody can like for no reason, and like I was always interested in beatboxing, but I got bashed so much as a kid because like they roast you, and I was just bashed so much. I'm like, wow, I am trash. And then you also have like the people that are like really good, so I'm just like, wow, I am garbage cheeks. And then like I don't know why I can never get I couldn't do that. But then like they were like, just do whatever you can do. And I was like, okay, cool. So worked out.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I feel like sometimes the like trying to do like the boots cats. It's like, okay, that's one thing. And then they're like, or, you know, whatever it might be. Like chatting with Kayla and Mark the other day on the series, and they were like teaching it like thing by thing in a different way. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And it's cool to see like both methods like work together and kind of like whatever works best for you.
Yeah. And Kayla is ridiculous.
Right?
Yo, did she run through like the different sounds that she can make individually? Yo, my God. She's like a dictionary of sounds. I was like, I didn't know a person could do that. What are you talking about?
Yes. No, yeah, I wasn't aware that was a thing a person could do. Like when she does the throat stuff, it's like, what?
Yeah, the only one that I can do is like the like that. But that's basic. Like she be
Yes, very true. Okay, so you told us the FLS origin story. What's your like acting, life, and everything origin story?
Everything origin story.
As much as you'd like to share.
Well, okay, it starts with it really starts with my mom, because my mom was on Broadway, and she did a lot of singing, especially in bands, and she sung all around the country, and she was really in the industry, but also kind of starts with wow, I don't know if I really want to share this part, but my dad, because I have a really close relationship with hip hop, mostly because like my dad owned strip clubs, and I only know like King of Diamonds, and then so he had a very close connection with rappers. So like I grew up listening to a lot of rap. But my mom was the one who really pushed me more so in like the acting, and like I did acting early on. Like I entered, like she would enter me in like these little film festivals, and I was like a really young kid. But then I grew out of it, and I was a nerd, and like in IB and all AP classes, I was fat and bullied. It was not fun times. But then eventually in high school, because I was always in drama, like the electives, but because they were easy rather than like me being like caring about acting, until my junior year was when I started really being like, wow, I actually like theater. And then my senior year, I was president of the drama club. And also because I was in sports a lot, like
Right.
and then so when I went to college, like I was a marketing major, and then I didn't take the intro to acting class, but I was randomly walking through the theater department, like just like because I thought there was gonna be like a club or something, like for auditioning or whatever, and I randomly ran into the chair of the department. I didn't know he was a chair at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you should. We have a majors meeting today. You should come. There's free pizza." And I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll show up. Whatever. Free pizza, lit." So I show up, and they had me taking pictures like I'm a part of the major, and I'm like, "The hell?" And then so I talk to him again, and then he introduced me to Wayne, because Wayne overrid me into his intro to acting class. And then from that intro to acting class, Wayne loved me and provoked like pushed me to audition. And then I auditioned for my BFA by accident, because it was like you could do a contemporary and not contemporary, a dramatic and comedic piece, like a 1 minute each. And I already had that, because from my senior year in high school, when I went to States, I already had that prepared. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. F it, let's go. And I did that, and I immediately got into BFA, and then I eventually dropped marketing, went to psychology because it makes more sense. But so then yeah, and then from that, I got graduated after 5 years with both of my degrees, which was last year, and I went to New York because I went to like this master class in conservatory, and they accepted me. They wanted me to be a part of this conservatory, and I was like, okay, at least that puts me in New York with a purpose. So like even if like I don't really do anything professionally, like at least that like gives me a basis for why I'm here. And so I've been in the conservatory doing those while I was doing all of these shows, because I went to New York. I was in 5 productions in New York. I originated a role in a musical, which is 2,000 Miles. Was still aiming to go to Broadway, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, what else? And then and I got cast as the lead in my first equity show that coronavirus canceled. So, and also my solo performance. It was accepted into Summerfest, but because of this whole thing, it's been pushed to Winterfest. So that will be coming in June, which is called the Will of Smith. It's called the Will of Smith. I'm very proud of the title because it's about Will Smith. But yeah, it's been a really, really crazy roller coaster of blessings.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Tell us more about that one-man show.
Oh, gladly. Okay. So it started off as my senior performance for my BFA. It's called The Will of Smith because it's inspired by Will Smith, because after his rap career as the Fresh Prince, but before his acting career as the Fresh Prince on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith was $2 million in debt to the IRS. He was dead broke. He was in a shabby apartment. He didn't have a car. He had a motor scooter, and he was struggling. And my story centers around him trying to find his way back on top, and him feeling that the only way through it is this one song that will put him on top. And the song that he's working on throughout the piece is the intro to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So it's really him struggling to try and find himself alongside of trying to figure out the circumstance, which eventually leads him into acting.
Wow, that is so interesting. I hope I get to see it.
Deb.
I know, yeah. You were in a show 12th night, right? When we were in FLS Academy, and we all did like that group video for your show.
Yo, hey LJ, something in the play. It's on my Instagram. Yo, I watched that like at least like once every like 2 months, just because it makes me smile. Well, not every 2 months. I'm talking about every month. Just months all together now.
I know, right? What is time anymore?
Oh my goodness, what are weekdays?
I know. So someone tweeted like, "Gosh, I can't believe we're still in March." And for a second there, I was like, "Are we?" Oh no. Like, just because it feels like March went so fast. Then April was like very quick, and now we're in June. What?
Mm-hmm. Yo, my grandfather pointed out like that March was 90 days ago, and I was like, wow, that's a third of a year. That's a lot of time. Well, no, it's not a third of a year. It's like what am I talking about? My math is gone.
Math time, like none of that makes any difference anymore. How has quarantine been for you?
For me, it's actually like I can't stress enough how many blessings have come through quarantine. So in my personal life, I would have to say like it's been fantastic, but externally there is still a lot of pressure and anxiety, especially with my grandfather. My grandfather is almost 90, and he's here. So like I have to take even extra step of precaution just because I know we're in the same house. And then my dad's also here. My dad's almost 60. And it's and then my mom's stuck in Arabia, in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, because that's where she works with my aunt. So it's been like a weird balance of like external circumstances, and especially with like, you know, everything we have going on with BLM. And then my grandfather worked with Dr. Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement, and he integrated Chattanooga City College because he was president of the college. He was the first person to ever graduate from it. And I talked to my grandfather a lot. So like, but even that, like with everything going on, is still a blessing in itself, because this is time that I wouldn't be able to have with my grandfather and with my dad, because normally I'm so always moving that I don't really have a lot for that time, even though like I do take that time. It's just it's a good feeling to be able to talk to him a lot, because, you know, realistically you don't have as much time as you would like. So but yeah, there's been a lot of blessings with this, especially with these open casting calls, with these resources. I just mentioned to you earlier about like I just signed the contract. I can't share the name because I'm not really sure when they're gonna post it yet, but I now have management, and I'm Hollywood Leonard now, and I've already been submitted for 3 lead roles in upcoming movies, and they solidly believe in me. And this isn't like isn't a raw Shaw management company. They represent some actual high caliber talent, which I can't wait to share. But and then doing a lot of these open calls has really refined me and equated me with because TV film works a lot different than theatrical, even though like you're like education, they always try to teach you like ABC, but it's changed so much to where it's you have to adapt from firsthand knowledge. So that was a good learning curve. And also it gave me a lot of time to do things that, like, you know, those things that are things but they're not physical things, like making sure my website's on point, making sure my resume's on point, making sure like it gave me a lot of time to really focus. I'm one of those people that, like, I don't have a problem staying in the house. I'm introverted at heart, but I'm like extroverted by nature, because like this all started as an act. I like when I was a fat nerd, like I didn't talk. I was just silent. But then I learned how to become funny because I needed to, because I can. not be that lonely kid. But but then so it's like when I'm in the house, like it and like it drives me because I'm always constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough. So me being it really gave me a second to like a lot, well not even a second, a long time to like really ground and like, okay, what can I do? Besides you see me on Instagram, I play Fortnite a lot. That's my only social endeavor.
Yeah, well, you know what? Everyone has their own things, right? That like help them get motivated or do whatever. Because like I watch Supergirl, that's my thing. I watch Supergirl with my dog. It's a good life. It's a good life.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, congratulations. We are so excited. We can't wait to see what comes next. Andy said, I will watch those movies. Yay. I am all up on that.
No.
Yes. just look at where you are. Can't wait. So exciting. It really is though. Like it's so cool to see your friends when they're doing something and then like you can see them growing and it's like, oh yay, I'm cheering for you.
Day one, A1.
Yes. So okay, let's get into some of those meat and potatoes. What is it like being a Black actor in New York? Have you know, there's so many things going on now with the Black Lives Matter movement, and especially like right now, everyone's writing up that we see you and talking to producers and casting directors and everyone for more equality. So what's that been like for you?
For me, it's been more of a roller coaster because I have such a firsthand experience from the roots to like with my grandfather and with sharing everything and everything. Like my grandfather's he lost two siblings. He lost his brother because they were working. They like he grew up on a farm and his brother's arm got cut off and they rushed him to the hospital, the closest hospital, and they turned him away because he was Black. And so they had to drive back to the house, past the house, and even further the opposite direction to get to the closest Negro facility. And he lost his brother that way, and he lost his sister because she stepped on a rusty nail, and then they couldn't go to the close one because they already learned from the brother. And by the time they got to the other one, she was gone. And my grandfather's grandfather was a slave, and then my grandfather was the first one to integrate to go to college, and then he was the first one to graduate from Chattanooga State College. Eventually became the president and integrated it, and he's and then he was the president of Miami-Dade. He did a lot, and he's very in tune with those movements. But then even going into personal experience, like perfect example. Well, you'll see with the piece. I also have a piece if people didn't know. Then we'll get to that at the end, but we'll close on that. But like, I'm the safest driver you've ever met. Like I have a speedometer on my car, so if I ever go to 90, it has this big beeping that's like slow the hell down. I want to make sure like I never like trance out. I always make sure like I'm extraordinarily safe. I cannot stress that enough. And even with that, over my life, I've been pulled over 14 times. And like one of them was warranted. One I even really, I was speeding, but like that's the only one that I'm like, okay, cool. I got pulled over in a parking lot that I didn't leave from yet. I literally pulled out of my space, went to the stop sign, I was about to turn, and the cop stopped me in a parking lot. And like and it was like apparently like my turn signal light was about to die, or like it was like giving a weird flash or something. And he was like, I had to pull it over to give you a warning. But like if you wanted to just give me a warning, you didn't need to run my license, bro. But
wow,
I digress. So it's and then there's also like, you know, prejudices, stereotypes. Like, you know, you get the one idiot, like especially in New York. Like I had 2 times where like I was walking with my white friend, and then like people just like one of them was a crazy white dude, one was a crazy Black dude. Like you know, I don't really want to repeat it over this, but you know, it's just like, oh, you're his N-word Negro. Like it's just like and like just and like really aggressive for no reason. And then like and the thing is, I can really take it. I roll with the punches, like, but it's like, cause it's something you have to do. And but like my friends are the ones who like get like I went to Domino's, and this was one day when my girlfriend was visiting me in New York, and I ordered, like, I went to Domino's, and then I wanted to put it on my rewards account, whatever. They said they couldn't do it, so I was like, oh, okay. So I put it through the app. They watched me put this order through this app, right? And I paid with debit card. I'm like, if I'm doing it through the app, I'll just pay with my debit card, right? But I didn't have my debit card on me, but I'm like, I'm gonna pay with it, right? Then when the food's ready, I go to pick it up. They're like, do you? We need to see your debit card. I'm like, what? But he's like, it's company policy. But I'm like, we had this conversation. You saw me put this in, and he's like, and like the hotel where my card was is like 3 blocks away, and it's freezing because it's nighttime. We walked here just to get pizza, so we'd have to pay that delivery fee. But then it became a whole thing. They're like, okay, but do you have your ID? No, it's with my debit card. I don't like. You saw me do this. Like, I can show you the confirmation. No. Like, but then the thing was, they didn't bend to like to give us the food until she went like full. This is not acceptable. And like she went. My girlfriend is Hispanic and white, so like she went, this is unacceptable, this establishment, and she's very protective. So like, and I love her. I love her so much. But like, and it was because it wasn't until that push that like, and it's just like little things like that, like. But the main thing that like comes through with me, especially with this push and this movement, especially being a Black actor and advocator, because I also do a lot of writing. Like I remember we talked about it a little bit, but like I have like my 2 feature films that are written, my musical that I've been writing. So look out for those hopefully one day. Now I just need a producer. But the main thing is when you get into those aspects of it, like we have like nowadays like Tyler Perry, Kevin Hart, who are opening their own production studios, but the face of is diverse enough. Like it's still not where I want it to be, especially like when it came to like Broadway. And then there's certain things like I'm not mad because it's not our story. You feel me? So it's like when you get into certain things like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, when you get into like those type of stories, it's like, okay, it's our story. I'm not too mad about it. Like Wicked, like Oklahoma, like it's not a Black driven story, so it makes sense. But when you look across the board at how many roles we have, or like how many roles of significance we have, over the last season, like Beetlejuice, Dear Evan Hansen, and then okay, one other thing before I keep going, Tootsie. Before we keep going, it's weird because when you look into like which stories are actually like Black stories or stories driven from that place, it's either a period piece or we're used as an idea. Like you get like the Ain't Too Proud, Tina, Dreamgirls. Like it's a period piece. It's not a current relevant piece. But then when you get into us being an idea, you have like Lion King, Hamilton, which it's still great representation, but it's that story element is not present, especially, and that's where I think there's a really big disconnect with like youth African Americans, when especially with the musical. I didn't see my first musical until 2014, 2015. It was Book of Mormon. That was the first musical I ever saw. Because why? It's not my music, because it's not hip hop. Like thank God we have Lin-Manuel Miranda, but everything is even with like Hamilton and with In the Heights. It all has a similar sound because at the end of the day, it was all written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. So it's all his voice. Like, rap, everyone has a different voice, but but you can hear one of those songs, you could not know what it is. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Even what was it? Bring It On was also one.
Bring It On,
And it sounds very, very, nothing against, because I preach his praises to the heavens, because he gave us at least an in, but I don't think that's the end. You feel me?
Right.
But and then okay, going back to the main point before I got sidetracked of
I love it. Stream of conscious.
But then it's like the face is so diverse, but when you look into who's producing it, who's making it, who are the owners, especially when you get into, because I played D1 basketball in 2 years of as a professional boxer throughout my college career. But like when you look into owners and just basic numbers, NFL, there's only 3 black coaches, no black owners in a league that is dominated by black people. When you look at the NBA, there's only 1 majority black owner and 2 other minority, very minority, like minority shareholders. And that the only major owner is Michael Jordan, which is Michael Jordan. And then the only 2 is Grant Hill and Shaq. So, and in a league that is run NHL, there's 0 black owners. Like it's, and then when you get into Broadway, I can't name any off the top of my head. I can name a couple of like white, but like that. But then it's just it's a matter of. But then it's also like what's the solution? Because the solution isn't just give up, like going to a billionaire, give up your money so someone else can feel comfortable when they earn that money. It's a deeper issue, and then like when you look at boards of any of teams of theater companies, it's hard to see that representation. But like the thing is though, I can't say that it's not different from what it used to be, because we do have people in power. We do have people who are slowly taking those spaces. It's just it's a hard thing to look at as present, but then it's just like looking forward as far as like, because the one real heavy realization I had a long time ago is just like through an experience that like you'll hear about when I get to like the piece or whatever. It's just like no matter how much money I make, how much notoriety I get, no matter how far I stride, at the end of the day, I'm still black, and that could still be a issue. and it's a hard realization, but like, and like I came to that realization young. But yeah, it's just hard when you look at both sides, because it's hard to find a working medium, because little things like police, like I okay, because one thing, like I'm not a fan of like getting rid of police, because at the end of the day, when you're in an issue, who are you gonna call? But the thing that's been proposed of what people are using that statement as is shutting down the system so that it can be restructured in the way that it's supposed to be to meet current issues. Because they say, because the racism is so deeply ingrained in the police system that it's easier to throw that system away and rework it rather than trying to rework. Because the main thing I don't want to see from this is a bunch of talk, no legislative change, and then even if there is a slight legislative change, then since the same people would still be in the power positions, that it just goes back. Because right now, like, there are legislatures that should have held cops accountable, that shouldn't have let this go on, but they're not being abided to. So that's where my disconnect kind of comes into, of like, okay, I get what you're saying, but it's hard for me to resonate with the idea of just getting rid of police.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of it is like about defunding, right? Like if you look at the numbers, it is crazy how much money they are given, especially compared to like the rest of the divide, right? Like I saw LA's was like, they're like, oh, we're gonna defund, we're gonna give up like $1 million, or I think now it's up to like 2.5, I think was the last thing I saw. But their budget's $3 billion, right? So like, how can they give them all this money, and then when like the doctors, when medical need PPE because we're in a pandemic, they're like, oh, we don't have that money, but here we can give you tear gas and rubber bullets, and you know, it's just, there's such a disconnect, and I feel like you know, what you're saying about they need to restructure it, because like the cops need longer training. There's so many things about, like, you know, someone in beauty school should not be having longer training than a police officer.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Who let that happen?
And then for them to be able to take, like we should have been calm. We're not trained to just be a normal citizen. If anything, you should be the one. And like that's where the main thing of like the whole like Black Lives Matter and everything is, there are countless examples of white mass shooters, white antagonists, fully armed, visibly armed, and they're able to be detained without issue. They're able to be confronted without issue. Shooting is for them is a last result of them shooting first. But then when you flip the script, I thought he had a weapon, contrary to the person you saw have a weapon. And it's
and like an AR-15, not just like a handgun, which is also bad. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Makes no sense.
I like don't know, and I know how many people have said this, so I'm not trying to just be like, I don't know how you don't just burn the whole place down. And like I saw that video. I don't know if you saw the video of that woman who was saying like, but this isn't our ground. Like, y'all want to burn it to the ground? Do that, because y'all stole it from us anyway. You stole us away. And it's like, watch that video for anyone. Like, I'll post it later if y'all haven't seen it. But and John Oliver had like a good ended with that on his segment, and just talking about defunding the police and all the problems. And it's just like I'm so angry, I could only imagine, right? Like, I'm trying to be the best ally I can be by being educated and understand as much as possible and have these conversations and open up the dialogue. But I will never truly understand what you go through, what you go through with some of the other actors, like what Carvin Lassant said, like he was in Hamilton and then goes out on the street and feels like, you know, he could be getting attacked, or someone yells like these very racist words at him. And I understand that I will never fully understand that. And I just want to like give you that space that if you ever just need to like vent or yell, like I'm here for you.
But I really do appreciate that. Like it really means a lot. It's just a weird feeling. It's weird when like it's kind of, because I talked to my grandfather about this like a year ago, about just a realization, because I always feel like I'm in a battle of when am I doing too much, when am I not, because my biggest thing is to elevate myself to a position where I can impact. And a lot of things, especially when it comes to civil rights, is you can get not wrapped up. I'm trying to think of the word I want, but like you can delve so deep into it that it can consume your life. And at the end of the day, what really changed? Because if you don't have a position of either influence or notoriety, it's hard for one person to make that much of a change, but it starts with everyone. So that's where it's like finding that balance of being able to stay vocal and that's where this whole pandemic has actually been a blessing, because the main thing with especially a lot of this push and how abrupt and hard this push has been, it's, at least I feel like it comes from both that feeling of anxiety from being locked up with the pandemic, but also the allotment of time. People have time to care. People have time to protest. People have time to look for something to fight for, and which has been a big push. People have time to educate themselves, because a lot of time when you're in the day-to-day, even though this push might be happening, a lot of the people who it needs to be happening for or affecting, you don't read up on it because just simple, you don't have time to. But now there's nothing but time. There's nothing but news. There's nothing but social media. And it's become such a prevalent, caught so much fire that it's hard to ignore, whether you're ignoring it adamantly or you're ignoring it subconsciously, because it's very uncomfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point. And there are all these lists going on about like the best books, the best podcasts, movies, TV shows, like the different ways that you can educate yourself. Like, I saw When They See Us, and it was, it's infuriating. It's so much of it's infuriating. And that's not just it is by far not just a one-off, right? And that's what I think it even hits the deepest, is when you see something like that, and you just know how many other Black boys, Black men have been affected by being wrongfully accused, wrongfully imprisoned, because they just wanted to find someone, right? Like, the case itself is horrible, right? You want justice, but sending these 5 innocent boys to jail isn't justice.
Exactly.
And Get In Projects. Thank you, Kyle, for tuning back in. Look at that. He says, very good point, LJ. Look at that. We had a great conversation the other day. Thank you for coming on. And it's this whole FLSA community has been like really strong.
Mm-hmm. Have you been doing the rap recesses?
Yo, I've been doing so many of them. I didn't at first because I was trying to like figure out my feelings, and just like sometimes you don't want to like, so much love back at you. But then I realized that similarly to being in the academy, like if I was feeling anxious, by the end of the class, I was feeling a lot better. And I've noticed like the same thing with the rap recess, right? If you go in with a lot of feelings and about quarantine, about Black Lives Matter, about if you're doing enough, if you're feeling lonely, if, all these different things that might be, building up in your head, at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I've connected with other people. And I don't know if you've been going to some, but like, I highly recommend it.
I'm literally the opposite. I started out going to all of them, and then the past month, I haven't had time. All these submissions and picking up fire and like whatever. I was like, hey, hit with an iron's hot, brother.
Totally. Right. I guess that's, I'm just like, I have no theater to go to, right? There's some stuff going on here, and like I'm doing these interviews, which are great, but just connecting with people, like I think that's like at the end of the day for me, like it's so amazing that you're having these workshops and interviews, and like you are living it up, which makes me so happy. And this is my way of living it up.
Yeah. That's going back to something we talked about earlier, of just like, I feel like especially in these times, everyone has their platform and like their outlet, and being able to channel and use those to not only advocate, but promote things of importance, whether that with the pandemic was the light at the end of the tunnel, different creativity, because I have some friends who have written some amazing work, and they weren't writers before this. And I have friends who have really honed in. My one friend Patricia started this thing, Monologue Monday, and I'm not gonna lie. Okay, she's probably not gonna see this anyway. But like the first one was not the best. But then once we got to the second month, I was like, I need to start doing these. It gets better as you keep practicing. She is on point now. I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. Now I have friends who have fully started full campaigns. My friend Cameron, sis.
Yo, sis.
This is amazing. I was in a directing intensive with Cameron, which where I first met sis, and then from that we just connected on a like family basis and just reality based, and then coming to New York, and then I'm going to auditions. I see sis, like oh my god, I love sis. But then but now throughout this whole thing, Cameron's made a full interview show, and now has launched a product line for.
I just bought the shirt.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna buy one. Like
support Black trans women.
Yeah.
Support Black trans people, right? women, men, non-binary, however I feel like we always say support Black trans women because they are the highest at risk. But as we've also seen with Tony, like there's a lot of too much hate. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I'm right there with you. But like seeing those moves, and it's fabulous to watch.
Yeah, it really is. Supporting one another. Like we just said, it's so cool to see, like Lisa said, I can't wait to say, I met him when.
Stop.
It's true.
My humbleness won't let me accept it. But keep
talking. Oh, yeah, completely. So speaking of that, let's hear what you've written.
Wait 1 second, though. I gotta get the beat.
L'chaim.
A second. Actually, let me see if I can play it through my computer, if you can still hear me or not. So
let's try it out.
Let me know if you still hear me. Give me 1 second. I was a lot more prepared in my head beforehand because I was like, okay, I got this, I'm ready. And then the light was like, you remember when you were prepared? Can you hear the beat and still hear me talk?
Yes.
Okay, and it's in its good level.
Maybe turn up just a little.
Turn up the beat?
Yeah.
That better?
Little more.
Okay.
That's good.
There. So you can still hear me though.
You're a little delayed when you backed up, but try it again.
Okay. How about now?
This is like live theater, yo.
This is what goes into everything that you all don't see.
Yes.
So is this better, or should I just play it from my phone?
What do y'all think? Because I think there's also a delay between like me and then like, so can y'all write in?
I'm gonna use my phone. I'm not computer savvy. He said he's been doing computer stuff. That's crazy.
We're learning so many new tricks with this pandemic and doing so much more on the computer.
Right? Okay, bet. Have it on my computer. And I have the lyrics up here. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yes, sir. Real facts. My dad used to live in Davie. I don't know if you're from Miami, but it's a good neighborhood with a lot of money. I couldn't walk down the street. For rightful fear, I could get shot because that's not where I'm supposed to be. But here's the crazy thing. One day when my dad was gone, I walked out on the lawn to take in the sights. Just the boy and his dog going out for a walk. Everything's gonna turn out all right. But I was profiled and stopped by neighborhood watch. A bunch of white people acting like the cops. They train you from a young age. It don't matter what you got. Cause I'm still black, I could have easily got shot. Wait, fast forward to 8, I can't escape. I was taught I'd be arrested of a mistake. Put your hands behind your back, drop straight to your knees, put your chest to the ground and lift your feet up like me. I watched my grandfather do it. Then I was next. But it's not the only time I was taught to deal with the feds. When I was 15, before I learned how to drive, I was taught to be pulled over so I know how to survive. Hands up, attended to. Look straight, not. Can I restart real quick?
Yo, you do you.
I want to take it.
Shake it out.
Real facts. My dad used to live in Davie. I don't know if you're from Miami, but it's a good neighborhood with a lot of money. I couldn't walk down the street. For rightful fear, I could get shot because it's not where I'm supposed to be. But here's the crazy thing. One day when my dad was gone, I walked out on the lawn to take in the sights. Just the boy and his dog going out for a walk. Everything's gonna turn out all right. But I was profiled and stopped by neighborhood watch. A bunch of white people acting like the cops. They trained you from a young age. It don't matter what you got. Cause I'm still black, I could have easily got shot. Wait, fast forward to 8, I can't escape. I was taught not to be arrested so I don't die by mistake. Put your hands behind your back, drop straight to your knees. Put your chest to the ground and lift your feet up like me. I watched my grandfather do it, then I was next. But that's not the only time I was taught to deal with the feds. When I was 15, before I learned how to drive, I was taught not to be pulled over so I know how to survive. Keep your hands attended to, look straight, not the sides. Always call them sir and ma'am, stay calm and precise. Never reach without permission, they have a gun. Just do whatever it takes, I can't lose you, son. That's what my mama told me. My dad said the same. Now what am I to do about my kids? How am I explain? Every single day the same thought is in my brain. Regardless of how you make it, they still look at you the same. But I preach love and peace. The only way for understanding is for you to understand me like I understand you. It's not the individual, but the system that raised us to marginalize, prioritize, antagonize, and subjugate too. That's why when I look at this, the only way forward change is not through me, but through you, and you. It's not black versus white, it's everyone versus racist. Educate yourself with compassion as the basis. Protest is necessary, but know what's gotta change. We need a new system, not everyone's to blame.
Damn.
And everyone's a start to change. Please don't waste this opportunity again. Because honestly, I need for my grandfather to see the dream he was promised before he takes that final sleep. Real facts. And that's it.
Wow. Leonard, thank you so much for sharing that. Whew. That was powerful. Straight fire. Get insane. Thank you. Yes, facts, facts, facts. What was writing that like? Did it feel therapeutic writing out all this, all the pain of growing up?
Kyle can attest to this because I still want to do a piece, especially geared toward this and centered around Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech. Simply be like with that analogy of like you can't with how America is like you can't see the dream unless you die, and I really wanted to make a piece just kind of releasing a lot of things. I've been on like that balance. When it came to this, I actually didn't start writing this until like yesterday. I started 2 days ago, and then yesterday was when I actually like finished it. Yeah. The main thing was just like because I originally started writing a different piece to a different beat, but like I started like on like my feelings about everything and just how I feel about stuff and about different brand but same company, like just like a bunch of those type of metaphors and analogies and like using all of this like wordplay or whatever the hell. But then I was like, this doesn't feel good to me. Like I feel too much like I'm preaching. And so with this, I was like, the main thing that affects people is stories, not my opinion, because my opinion is saturated. This is, and like a lot of things that I've experienced, especially in my immediate life with people who are really close to me, is a lot of like when it comes to like that disconnect, it's just that they don't know these stories exist. Like if you grew up isolated to it, you believe what you've seen or what you've been told, and that's just human nature, psychology. It's just it's the basis, and the easiest way to elevate change is to elevate awareness, elevate empathy, and I really feel like that is so when it came to when I scrapped the other piece, like I still have the lyrics somewhere, but like I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like where this is going. It doesn't I'm not getting what I want. So in this one, I really like this beat, and it's T Grizzly. I don't know if anyone knows who that is, but like he's a really like hard rapper. And like this song I heard like 2 weeks ago because someone killed his auntie, and like this was like a dedication piece of like because he doesn't know who, because the person who killed her was aiming for him and killed her by accident. Wow. Which touches upon a whole different issue we have in the Black community. But when it comes to I love the feeling of the words of just like, I was like, okay. And it just brought out that story. I forgot. I put that down a long time ago. When it came to that, because like I told you, my parents are separated, but and that happened a long time ago. My dad owned strip club. My dad was multi-millionaire for a while, and he lived in Davie, and it's a really nice neighborhood. Like I live like 4 blocks down from like Rick Ross, and like it was a really nice neighborhood, it's a gated neighborhood, and and I would ride around with my friend Justin on mopeds like all the time. Like we ride the moped around, come back house, whatever. But on one day in particular, like I was taking my dog for a walk because my dad, you know, late night, whatever. So I was taking my dog for a walk around the neighborhood, and this neighbor came out and grabbed me, like and was just like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I'm like, I live here. I live right there. Like, and then he's like, "No, I seen you and your hoodlum friend riding around on a motorcycle," and the situation elevated because like I'm a kid, like I don't know what the fuck to do, and I was also like really isolated, like I get intimidated fast. Now I don't, because you know I'm me, but like I got intimidated fast. I'm just I live right there. Well, where's your parents? I'm like, my dad's at work. He's like, oh well, that's convenient, isn't it? And I'm like, I was just walking, and then what happened was, thank God, security came around, and he knew me because like I would see him especially when I would ride around, I always say what's up to him. But so he knew me and he knew I live here, and then he de-escalated the situation, reassured the person, and then I went home. And then like after that, I kind of just like forgot about that moment. But yeah, it was around that time when like I first came to that realization of just like regardless how much anything, like if I live in a great neighborhood where I'm supposed to be to protect me, like a gated neighborhood, because I do have money, then like if I walk outside not looking like an upscale individual who needs to be here, then it's easy, like it's very easy for like I'm always at risk when like anyone else from a different race, like if the white dude walks out with slippers and some half-ass shorts with holes in them, oh, that's Jeff, he's wealthy, he's old money, he knows. But like if I do that, the fuck are you doing here? So it was a really weird realization.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. And I feel like we've been hearing too many of those stories, right? Like I was just walking outside, I was walking my dog, I was playing with my friends. Like you were just doing human things to do, and people just have this hate. And you know, I was talking with someone else on a previous episode of this, and just talking about like having to see other people as human, right? Like we are the same. We have different skin color.
Yeah.
And we have different life experiences. No one is better than the other. Why are you picking these fights? Why are you doing this? And it's, you know, like trying to be an actor while also just trying to survive. And like you carry around these stories with you, and you put out these beautiful pieces, right? Like that was, like you said, just telling your story, I think is like the most important thing, because when people hear a story, it connects them and it makes you understand what other people are going through better.
Yeah. And I also feel like when it comes to a situation, especially like this, it's very easy to get defensive because human nature, if you grew up your whole life being privileged and then someone comes around to equal out the situation, you're going to feel like you're being discriminated against because what you have always had is starting to slowly diminish so that the playing field is leveled. And the moment that starts happening, the first human reaction is you get defensive. And I've had a lot of very uncomfortable, well, to someone else would be uncomfortable situations, but that's because I, as a Black person, I don't get offended if you have stereotypic views. I don't get offended if you feel like Donald Trump is the best person ever. I don't. Let's talk about it, because the only way, like I know the world wasn't built in one day. Like it takes steps. So if you genuinely feel that way, then tell me about it, so then I can tell you my opinion, but I'm going to respect your opinion because that dialogue's not going to happen if I condemn you immediately. You feel me? Even though I feel like when it comes to in stance of like a protest, or when it comes to a rally of everybody, that's a different segment, because you do want to condemn these actions. You do want to hit harsh. But when it comes to like one-on-ones, if like, and especially with people who I'm closest to, I've had some of the most uncomfortable, like one of my friends made the statement that he feels that being a white actor disadvantages and gives him a disadvantage from in his professional life, because he feels that that the pool of competition is so much larger that it's a disadvantage for him when there are certain, and like another friend said had like a statement throughout, and these are like 4-hour dialogues of like these, because like I want to know, and then like at the same time I'm not gonna, because my mom said this to me a long time ago, that you just keep a straight face and keep it going, people will keep talking, and so and like I'm curious, because if you don't understand, if I don't understand you, how are you going to understand me, and why would you want to?
Right.
And the best way is just like I said with these stories, because you can't refute something that happened. You can refute my opinion about something. You can refute how I feel about the police, but when you have side-by-side comparisons, especially if it's from someone that you know, which like all these people were people who I'm close to, it hits a realer place, and that's the way that you can open people's minds up to change, and like you can start taking those steps to where they start to like, oh wow, I get that might not be the same, but it's not, everything doesn't, you can't just change someone's opinion. It's like,
right. Yeah, that it's true how you said sometimes you got to take care of your own house first, right? Like going to these big protests are amazing if you can, and if that's something, you know, that you feel comfortable doing, but also having these real conversations with your family and friends can sometimes be just as meaningful, because you're saying like I see why you said all lives matter, but let me tell you why that actually is quite painful. Like, yes, all lives do matter, but right now we're focusing on Black lives because they are the ones being targeted. So you saying all lives matter, while you think might be, you know, all inclusive, is actually not being inclusive. And like, then you have a dialogue, and instead of it being like an attack, let's like just get through this together. And then not all the time, maybe not even half the time, but a few people might be like, wow, I didn't see it that way. Thank you for taking the time to educate me. I won't say that anymore.
Exactly. And taking those steps, because I like, even the all lives matter, I just had that conversation with someone a couple days ago. But like, when it comes to the family is the heart, and that's where I applaud a lot of people of different ethnicity for taking that challenge and not backing down, and being able to push. Someone who's really close to me just had that tough talk with a family member who gave a pushback over a post that was put up, and they really stuck with the punches and did not, and in a respectful way, did not back down from the stance. And the one thing that I will say is just any advice for anyone who goes through that is to keep it to the facts, if that makes sense. Because it is very easy to let yourself digress, and then the conversation digresses into a morality argument. Which is the first response for when someone gets defensive about an issue. But the more isolated you keep the debate to, well, not debate, but like, you know, the conversation to, this is what's happening. Do you know the systematic reasons? Do you like, okay, I get that you feel this way about the police system, which I don't like, but these are the numbers. 1 in 1,000 Black people are likely to die at the hands of a police officer. It's as much as you can ground the conversation, even if it gets dirty, which like the person that I'm talking about, it dissolved into that, but from the other person's perspective, because they keep it to the facts, and then the other person finally just stopped messaging. which means it was resonated somewhere. And it's a hard conversation to have when it's people that you love, because you can't just, I'm going to make my point and then block them. It's I have to see you. Like, at some point in life, I have to see you. Like, so the more you can try to pull that person away from this is how you feel about it to this is what's happening, and whether you feel one way or another about it, this is a fact, and it's and I feel that this is wrong. Do you? Like, I keep trying to so you can really rearrange it.
For sure. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up in a moment. My dog is like yelling at me to come in. Please come in, Slim. You can't unfortunately see him because of how it's tilted, but I hope it hasn't been distracting for everyone. He's been scratching, and we had such a good.
I have not heard it, if I'm being honest.
You couldn't? Okay.
Yeah. They might have a different situation.
Yeah, he's so cute. He's just right here. So okay, and
I just read the comment. That made me blush. I'm sorry.
That's good. You deserve it. So
you know Tanya's my mom's name too. Sorry.
What?
Tanya. It's spelled differently, but
Tanya, my mama.
Tanya's my mom's name.
Hi.
Go!
Thank you.
Hey, that's my dog. Oof.
Now you can see him. Oof. He always does that when I'm wearing this new thing.
Okay, wait, what's the thing? Wait, since we're showing pets, I just gotta show you my pet.
Oh, please. Oh. Yes, Slim loves to make an appearance.
My bad.
Yes, hello. How are y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in. Oh, Slimbo. Yes, he loves to jump up and lick my face, which is very, very kind of him. Thank you. Thank you so much, Slim. That is the thing about being SHO. What? Came up with a new word. Now I'm just trying to hold the time. Oh, you couldn't hear any. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, it was. Oh, yes.
This is my Johnny. We drove him back from New York because I couldn't leave him throughout the pandemic.
Oh my God, what a cutie. Oh my God, I can't. That is so. I wish, like, I love Slim. I wish he could like fit on my lap so we could like have them side by side.
You saw he just shoved all those treats into his cheek. Such a
yes. Slim is just sitting right in front of me. He loves to take the space in between the computer and my chair and be like, why are you not paying attention to me? Even though we just spent the last hour cuddling on the couch as we normally do. So I love that. Thank you. There should be like a whole pet segment on this, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you can see his nose. Amazing. Lisa, oh, you're watching on your TV? That's so fancy. Lit. Okay, cool.
I made it on the big screen. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Hollywood Leonard.
I love this. I honestly feel like I could just talk to you all day. It is amazing. And I don't know what else you're doing for the day. I was thinking of probably watching Black Panther because we used to always do the
Wakanda forever! Oh my God. Like
I was watching.
I love this. I love this.
Isn't it just the best?
Oh my gosh. Actually, I have another.
Are you?
What?
Sorry, there's that delay. You go.
Oh, I was like, the only thing I have today is my new management has me on another. I have another video audition I have to do, so I need to finish that tonight. It's due Thursday, but I want to send it in tonight just because I'm overachiever.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's better to just kind of like, do the. Lisa saying Leonard is always on my TV.
What?
I have the pics from the last FLS on my screensaver. Amazing.
Stop.
Love to hear that. So much fun.
Yeah.
I love Lisa so much. So, okay, let's talk about where people can find you on social media, any like thing for people to like look out for, and if there are any nonprofits that you specifically want to give a shout out.
Okay. Bet. Okay, you can on Instagram, Leonard.J.Moore with 2 O's. On Facebook, Leonard J Moore II. My website, www.leonardjmoore.com. What else? Yeah, I'm like my active access and all that. Oh, this is my dad. Dad, you want to show your face real quick? I'm doing an interview. I know. I'm fancy. Yeah.
Hey! Yes!
How you doing? Yeah, he looks a lot
Great,
more
how are you? Oh, I love this. We are all so proud of Leonard. He's amazing. And we went to the FLS Academy together.
Oh, okay. Okay. Doesn't help we have the same name, so.
I know. LJ. Yes, I love that. And my mom's watching and chatting
Hi,
here.
Mom.
So it's a whole family thing, right? It's actually her birthday, her 65th birthday. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But she's so exciting and we're celebrating. So whatever. Age is only a thing. And we are celebrating her birthday. So what?
Stone with the happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Show must go on. That's how it go.
Yes. Oh my
God. But yeah, those are the main ways to find me. My Instagram. But yeah, and just as a quick note to any actors, because like I know I put it on my Facebook and Instagram that I'm gonna at least touch on this just a little bit. I'm just like a quick summation. If anyone wants to reach out to me, feel free to. If it right now, especially with COVID, everything's leveled. Instagram, follow any casting directors. If you look on my Instagram, you can see like the people I'm following, because I follow like over 400 different casting director agencies. They post a lot of open calls on Actors Access. There's a bunch of open calls. There's one up right now. There's casted.com, casting networks. There's a really good website, Acting and Voice Studios, where it's more pay to play, but that was actually I did a showcase from there. It was like $120 to be in front of 6 agents and 2 managers, and that's where I got my representation from. And then using those opportunities. Well, that's not where I got my representation from, because you're not allowed. Because I'm SAG, I'm not allowed to say that. But I was already in talking. But just that, like using those and then researching which agents fit you, and then adjusting the talent, like the piece to that, and there's a bunch of other websites and names, like, and Backstage is also pretty good. They release a lot of open calls, but really just keeping your ear to the ground and then jumping whenever you can, because a lot of casting directors are also doing Instagram live auditions, and that's another good way to get agents. Tyler Perry's casting director was doing a lot of those, and Raven, it was doing a lot of them from 19 Productions, and she got a lot out of Atlanta. So yeah, just wanted to go through that really quick. And if anyone ever has questions, I love sharing information, so hit me up.
So good. Yes. Oh, thank you for sharing all that. And I want to give a special shout out to the Okra Project. They are specifically helping Black trans folk right now. And I think that's a really important subsect of the Black Lives Matter movement, right? There are so many great organizations you can donate to, but this one I think is just doing a lot of really, really specific work. So check them out. I've tweeted about them a few times, but if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I know I will be donating again very soon. And thank you, Leonard. It's been so much fun to chat with you, LJ. Great.
ELJAY.
Where'd that come from?
Like I said, I was a nerd and very isolated as a kid. So literally, I was one day just up really late at night, staring at the ceiling because I couldn't go to sleep, and I was like, "My name's LJ. How would you spell that if you wanted to spell it?" And then ELLJAYJ. LJ. And then I found out in Spanish, it's the J.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, we had like little name tags for, the FLS Academy. Mine said bwaySHO. bwaySHO? What is my name? And yours said LJ. It was great. Whew, well, it's been a bit of a day. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for chatting, spitting the truth. It's been amazing. I can't wait to see you again in person. You are awesome. And the show must go online continues this week. Stay tuned. bwaySHO.com has all of the past interviews, the future interviews, and everything. Bye.
Bye. Love y'all.
Yes. Ah.